Valley Valley School District Board meeting to order and ask Ms. Story to join us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, sitting with this, we asked the person to tell a little bit about themselves since you led us in the flag salute. And I'm going to use what I just told Lonnie. You have a good story to tell us. I want to spend a day with you one day, what you do every day, because I think it's so impressive, and I think everybody should hear about that. Right?
Yeah. Hello. Okay, so I have a wonderful job. I get to do an assortment of things that I really enjoy, most of it in the legal field. I work with truancy, I work with public records requests, I work with subpoenas and tort claims, and assist Linda and Teresa and Shelley and anybody else that asks for my help. So that's about it.
Great job.
Thank you.
Very important. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for her? Thank
How long have you been with the district, Judy?
Pardon?
How long have you been with the district?
25 years.
And now you have to sing the national anthem.
That's a new one with our new superintendent.
It's a new rule.
So Ms. Huron, will you take roll call for us?
Yes, President and Director of District 1, Monty Anderson.
Here.
Vice President and Director of District 4, Mavis Nichols.
Present.
Director of District 2, Ken Root.
Present.
Director of District 3, Jim Figueroa.
Present.
Director of District 5, Stephanie McClintock.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Huron. Now I would look for agenda approval.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Directors approve the agenda as presented.
So there's a motion on the floor to approve the agenda as presented. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is our finance report.
Good evening. That came really fast.
You were all set for it.
I was waiting for the ASB reports and then I realized it's July. So the budget has, well, almost technically passed. And so I wanted to kind of update you all on the progress there that I'm having as soon as I can. Okay, so since the budget was passed on June 30th, there are some changes that are occurring into our schedule. We have to go back and apply the COLA at the 2.3%. And as I mentioned before, a lot of the work we've done with the department budgets, the grants, and staffing with Linda's team and who's there. So now it's going back and finessing a few items, as well as then waiting for the legislature to open up what they call the F-203, which kind of states what our revenues are going to be, because we've been working off estimated revenues and guesses of what it might be. And then that should be available hopefully Thursday, for sure Monday. HR will be at it, like I was mentioning, with the COLA, and then we'll go through and do some fine tuning and hopefully balance the budget by the last week in July and have a week to get the budget hearing together and just make sure that all our T's crossed and our I's are dotted, and be ready for our first budget hearing in Yakult, I believe on Tuesday, August 8th, with the second one following on Tuesday, August 15th at Lauren, and then to be adopted on August 28th at the board meeting. So accounting, finance, and HR are going to be extremely busy over the next 4 weeks, getting the 17-18 budget through and ready, as well as also trying to understand as much as we can at the same time of what 2018, 19, and beyond is going to look like, since there was a major shift in how the state finances education. So I just want to show you the planning that we're doing.
Any questions on that first?
Just a recognition of how much work it takes to put all that together. Part of all of you.
It's a team effort, that's for sure. It's a dance.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Perfect. You bet. Next one is our operations report. Mr. Zuma.
Aloha. All right. Excuse me. I've told you all about all of our projects that are coming up, so this summer I'll just basically touch on the projects that are underway.
Yep.
Let's keep it simple. Battleground High School, we've started our new STEM lab. We've done all of our demolition, and there's just some electrical work and flooring to redo, but the demolition part's complete. Also at the welding shop, we're doing a lot of, we're doing some asbestos abatement and putting new welding booths in. We've got all the asbestos done and the demolition and starting the installation of the new booths. Captain Strong, we've completed the first coating of our waterproofing. I've told you about that. We're going to be waterproofing all of our gyms that we've had trouble with. Doing that in-house. First coat's done, looks great, one to go. That's going very well. Lauren, if you've dropped by Lauren lately, our site prep is about done. The pads are all gravelled and we're ready to start augering in some concrete. All the portables are on site, jacked up. That one's going good. No worries there yet. Yeah. Maple Grove, replacing sidewalks. Again, we're doing this in 2 phases. We have this summer's work just about complete. They've done real well. Local company. We're starting on a couple of special ed preschool rooms that we're adding restrooms on the old 10-plex that will be used for special ed preschool. Kind of a late project that came along. Tukes, we've done our demolition on, put all the holes in the walls. We're waiting on windows and such. Rewiring is just about complete. Just waiting on our windows. If you remember the Pleasant Valley where we created the see-through space between 2 classrooms, we've added a lot of walls and a doorway so the teacher can go in between the 2 classrooms without going in the hallway. And then at Yakult, since the portables are gone up there, the foundation is dug. There'll be the target on that is we're going to be pouring concrete at Lauren this week, and they're continuing the underground work at Yakult, and we will be putting the foundation in next week, and portables will be arriving. So that one's on schedule too still.
A little busy. Hey, so the Tukes thing, what is with Tukes? You're putting in the classrooms, you're putting a window between the classrooms?
So you know the commons.
Oh, the
space.
commons,
In the
okay.
commons. If you come in from the north side, which is the middle school,
Yeah,
there's the computer lab, and then there's another
yeah.
little triangle-shaped office.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the robotics area.
Yeah.
So we punched in windows between those 2 spaces, so
Oh,
she
great.
can just go right between the 2.
Yeah, great idea. That's an odd shape, that triangular
It's a
thing.
storage area now.
Yeah.
Now they're going to integrate it in that.
Yeah, usable space, yeah. Yeah, awesome. I noticed, of course, I spent a little time at Maple Grove, but no, Maple-less Grove. Because you took out those trees, I'm assuming because because of the
Because I don't want to replace those sidewalks again.
exactly right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Change the name of the
Yeah.
school.
What's that?
Change the name of the school.
Yeah, change the name of the school.
And we have, if you notice, we have planted some other trees in that area, but
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
not close to the sidewalks.
Yeah. Because those sidewalks were
Bad.
really bad. Good for skateboarders, bad for traffic. Yeah.
Any questions?
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Next item is our teaching and learning update. Mr. Waters, and welcome to the table.
Thank you. Mark told me that I could just say nothing to report, but it didn't seem appropriate on my So I just made something up. I just wanted to give the board an update on some of the activities that teaching and learning is up to over the summer. As you know, we just recently adopted a new high school math adoption for algebra, geometry, and algebra 2. And so we have a number of all of our teachers who are going to be using that curriculum are going through some training and professional development. So we have 50 math teachers, a lot of excitement. Dave Cressup reports that the first training went off wonderfully, and everybody's very, very excited about the new curriculum. So thank you for that. We're going to have 2 additional training days for all of them coming up in August as we move forward in the summer. We also are beginning the initial planning stages of an ELA 9 through 12 adoption that we're going to be, English Language Arts adoption, that we're going to be starting in the fall. And we've got a group together that is helping to plan that and what that implementation looks like. We're doing some work with our comprehensive literacy model, which is the model that we're implementing in our primary schools. And we had a group of administrators, reading intervention specialists, and coaches travel to Arkansas recently to hear Linda Dorn speak about that. And Allison Tuhart, who's taking over that role for us at the district level, was also able to go. We're really excited with some good stuff happening in math at the primary schools with number talks, and we're expanding those to include our middle schools and our high schools. So that's going to provide a level of consistency throughout the entire district. So we've got some professional development planned, and again, Mr. Cressup is leading that. We're fortunate that the Danielson group is coming to Portland, and so we're going to be able to take a group of administrators to get some heads-on training in the Danielson teacher evaluation model, and that's happening in the end of August. We have a work group formed, including principals and district office personnel, to look at our school improvement plan, trying to simplify that and offer a level of consistency, make it more meaningful, and a document that is livable and breathable. We're also doing the same for our strategic plan, and again, got another work group scheduled there. We're looking at identifying some key indicators and some action steps that we can take that will show the progress that we're making towards the strategic plan. We're very excited that we're exploring the idea of a professional development enroller, which is an online tool that our teachers can use to enroll in professional development and keep track of all of their clock hours and courses that they've taken, and simplify the process all around. And that's part of our bigger design to develop a comprehensive professional development plan. I've been spearheading that, and I've had the opportunity and privilege to meet with several of our teachers because we're really going to put an emphasis into increasing the level of professional development we had for our grades, our secondary grades 5 through 12, because that's been something that has been lacking for us. Of course, SPED and LAP and CTE and Title, Cindy and Ellen and Jill are working on their grant submission. That's a big part of the summer work that they do. Scott has been doing a lot of work with the one-to-one tech that we're rolling out. As you all know, we're expanding that to all 8th graders and 7th graders. We'll have one-to-one tech, so that's over 2,200 students in the district will have technology at their fingertips. We continue to do a whole lot of hiring, and we have people, unfortunately, retiring or making the decision to move, and even as late as last week, and so we have new positions open, and we continue to go that way. We're working on our new teacher induction plan and mentoring plan that we have in place. And we're also planning our administrative retreat and the training that goes along with our administrators when they return. So that's just a taste of some of the things that Teaching and Learning is working on during the summer.
It's a shame you get all this time off, didn't it?
I know.
When you were talking about the professional development, I think we have a lot of very talented, gifted, capable teachers.
Yes.
How many of those are leading some of our professional
Well, it was
development?
interesting. I had the opportunity to meet with Paula Gunther from Prairie High School and Jen Hobbit, also from Prairie High School, and spoke to them. They had the two of them. I know there's others out there as well, but I was able to meet with them just recently. And both of them have a strong passion for doing professional development. And that's one of the things that Mark and I talked about, the idea of taking some of our teacher leaders who are out there and have good things to offer and bringing them in and helping us develop that plan. So that's what we're going to do. It is our intent to use some of the expertise that we have in our teaching ranks. We have a lot of wonderful, wonderful quality people, and we're going to take advantage of that and develop a professional development plan that meets everybody's needs.
Especially when we have some state award winners
Yes.
and that sort of thing. We
Yeah.
should take advantage of that.
So that's the goal this next year.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Mr. Warder? I think that as we go through this transition into our new leadership with Mr. Ross at the helm and Mr. Waters as its backup, we can see that they've hit the ground running for some major.
We're having fun.
change.
We're having a lot of fun. I know I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
Well, by looking at Denny today, he must have been doing some running. He had his shorts on him.
I went home and changed.
So the next item on the agenda is our communications report. Ms. Sanders.
Hello, how are y'all doing? Good. So I have 3 things I'd like to share, and one is I would like to invite you to watch The Reflector for a very well written article by Mr. Ross. It's a way for us to get, another way for us to get information out to the community, and he wrote a very nice article as his introduction to the community. So please watch for that coming out. Then I would also like to share that we are putting the finishing touches on the community report for this year, and I'm very excited. It looks really good, and it has a lot of information in it that is easy to read and digest, so I'm very excited about that. And as quickly as we close out this past year, we are gearing up for the upcoming year. We're going to be updating our website. We've already had requests, emails, and phone calls for our school supply list. So Sandy worked hard to get those together, and we are starting to get next year's information out, and we'll have our back to school web pages refreshed and pretty soon. So that's what we're working on.
It doesn't help that like Fred Meyer and other stores are putting out their school supply stuff on sale right now too, so that's going to push pushing that agenda a little bit for you, I'm sure.
Right, I just got back from vacation and walked into Fred Meyer to restock the fridge, and there was a lot of school supplies there. And I said, oh my goodness, we just got out.
Christmas is around the corner.
Yes.
So any further questions for Ms. Sanders?
Thank you.
These are our community reports. First up, we have our Ledge Committee.
I guess I've been still reading about what was just passed or is supposed to be signed by the governor. I don't think it's signed yet. It was passed Friday. I've spoken with a couple of our legislators, and I want specifics on Battleground. They don't have them, and some of them have some answers, some of them they're just really vague, and I think not real absolute. I don't know if you've had better conversations with anybody you've talked to.
Just look at the leap schedule.
Yeah, so I think as more information comes out, we'll get more, Megan will probably have more insight into all of how that's going to affect us monetarily, so.
But the budget was signed.
It was?
Sure. Or they would have.
What they made changes to?
He vetoed two
Yeah.
sections.
Yeah.
But if it hadn't been signed, there would have been a government close down.
Right, but I thought that I've also heard that they might have to go back into session on
They're
what
still
was
in session.
vetoed. Okay.
And they can reconsider that, but the session is not over yet.
They're still okay.
They haven't passed the capital budget, and there are several other items still up for bid. Whether they pass them or not, I don't know.
I did read something today about Inslee signing that biology test now, so those kids that graduated or that were missing that in this school year
Correct.
still get to
They
graduate.
get to graduate. Correct.
Does that, have you looked at numbers on our seniors that graduated this year?
We didn't have we maybe had a total of 5 or 6 in the district.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say it was less than.
They'll be contacted, obviously, to say, hey, you graduated.
Oh.
And I think that is retroactive to 2014, or did they?
No,
take that out?
2007.
Yeah.
Just this year?
And they rolled back the other assessments to the sophomore level, so we'll be looking at them.
So they didn't go back to 14.
Can't go that far.
We'd love to hand deliver that. That'd be awesome.
Well, especially if they didn't get to walk.
Yeah.
We could.
I don't think there were any that, because that was still under consideration, they were allowed to.
Right, we allowed those students who just had that
Oh,
to walk.
good.
Yes, we were very visionary.
Yes.
I like that.
Good thing we
So
had
that's why I
this
thought those poor kids.
They were allowed to walk at that.
So that's all I have.
Any questions? How about the audit committee?
On the audit committee, Ms. Nichols and myself met today. Normally it's on the first Friday of the month, but because of 4-day work weeks, we had to change that. And we reviewed the board, the board of directors budget, the superintendent budget, and the last time sheet of Mr. Holloway. So Mr. Ross, you're on next. We're going to really be looking for yours. So we pulled quite a few vouchers this time. Didn't find any discrepancies with any of them. There was one that kind of, each time, even though we go through all these, it seems like each time there's one that kind of comes to the top there. And this was called Chem Aqua. And it was, the amount was kind of, when you see Chem Aqua, kind of wondered, well, why was this this, it didn't seem like a monthly amount was so much, but the yearly was. Well, come to find out, and the explanation we got was that some of the cooling towers for some of the AC stuff, and Kevin can correct me if I say this right, but it's testing and chemicals to combat the corrosion in those systems. And I understand that was maybe going away anyhow in some of them, but that's what that ended up being.
And it wasn't for every building or every
No.
system, it was just for 4? Pardon me? We thought maybe we had a swimming pool, we didn't know.
Yeah. The old, we thought it was still for the old house over here with the swimming pool. That's now covered up or gone, but no discrepancy. We did see a lot of, there was a lot of buyout on vacation time and that. But other than that, nothing
I saw
else.
some on the Great Courses, which is a company that I like. They put out some CDs that are 30-minute segments of a course. I've got one on calculus. It's extremely well done. And so we had to look into that one. Apparently it's one used in a health and fitness room for mental health, sounds like. And that was interesting. And then overall, and a truckload of paper.
from Costco.
from Costco. That's a lot of money for paper. That was kind of fun.
So now, speaking of the FIT, or the audit committee, Jim, I think that your term was up. And that was the second go-around that you did. So that means that we need to appoint another person to that committee. So I'm wondering if there's somebody that would.
I'll do it.
Aye.
Yeah.
So
Want to make a
Mr.
motion? You want a motion?
No, we don't need one.
Oh.
I'll just appoint Mr. Root if that's for another, and it goes from July to June.
Okay.
Is that
Let June to
meeting
July.
time still work for you?
Oh, you're gonna have to, converse with him a little.
Yeah, I think that you guys can get together with Megan and come up with a meeting time that fits
You're not
your schedule.
flexible about this.
No, no, no. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And we'll make a note of that on board docs. The next committee is our HR board rep, and I have nothing to report. But while the floor is mine, I also sit on the WASDA annual conference committee, and we went through a selection process for the sessions that are presented at the annual conference. There was 80 sessions that were presented to the committee, and we had to narrow it down to 40. It just so happens that session number 7, or selection number 7, from all of the directors that took the survey was that K-12 school plus parent presents an equals a happy, successful students with this, our Valley Road School District board, and the River Home Link Mark Clemens session. So we're going to have a slot that we have to present that home link program there at the WASDA conference. That was session number 7.
And you say we. Mark's really going to be doing the presenting on this, right?
I'm sure that the members of this board will be up to speed with the table. But yeah, it's a dual presentation between the board and the administration. Yep.
Do you know when or if we've had other presentations here? Not since I've been on the board.
Ditto.
Did we?
No, not since I've been here. That's 8 years, so.
About time we get some.
Mr. Root did ask if I could find out if the Battleground high school band would be able to play during one of the luncheons as the arts performing. So if that's a wish of the board, then I'll make that request.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then while we're talking about the annual conference, I think we should consider the new board members that may be elected in November, to make sure that they're signed up for at least the new board member boot camp, or the session for the new board member boot camp.
And I'm assuming Jim and I will not be going.
That would be up to you guys, and for them, the new board members to go, we actually have to pass a resolution saying that they can go. To be in your places.
That's because they're not seated.
Yeah, because they are not seated. So we can handle that after, or right around the election.
It has been done in the past, because I
Yes.
think Mavis and I both
Yep.
went our first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went before.
Oh, we have.
Yeah, we legit, both Jim and I went, that's why I assumed that they were gonna be going in our place.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
So that's all I had on that. And then also sitting on the WASDA board, we do have our board meeting coming up this weekend in Walla Walla. So I'll be over in Walla Walla this weekend. That's all I had. So our next committee is our Battleground Education Foundation.
And that would be me. BGF, it's a little slow because school's out, but we were able to give out, I think it was $15,000 to each school. The money was designated by the FTE per school, so it was given out evenly per FTE for each school. But this weekend is Harvest Days, and if you come 5 to 7, there's somebody outstanding going to be in that booth. That's me.
What booth?
But
So you're standing
there's
out?
going to be a booth at the Harvest Days Festival.
Dunk booth?
That's what's that?
A dunk booth?
A dunk booth. No dunk booth. It's just a booth. To inform people about the BGF and what we do and so forth. So it does. I think it's from 9 to 9, if I'm not mistaken. The booth will be open till.
You're gonna be there all day.
No, 5 to 7 at the dunk booth.
Okay. And I have a yes on the parade, and I will not, I will be in Seattle for the Hood Baseball State Tournament.
Oh, well,
That was,
good luck.
that we didn't expect to go. Yeah, that's nice.
And the next item is the Clark County Schools Advisory Council. Mark and I attended that, the last meeting. Fortunately, Mark's going to attend the next one because I'm going to be out of town. But one of the action items we took from our first meeting is that we got with Kevin on some of the issues that are holding us up for being a productive district, basically. And Kevin gave us a great example of the permitting process and the delay in permitting, and we submitted that to these guys, and of course, we got their attention because of the city council's there on that board. So hopefully we'll hear some good news coming up, Kevin, for all your effort, and thank you for taking care of that. And then the WASDA nominations committee, I'm going to take advantage of having the floor. July 29th is when the candidates are going to be interviewed for the president and vice president of WASDA. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be, I'll be out of town that day as well, unfortunately, that Saturday for a business deal. But it sounds like we have 5 legitimate candidates. They're not mentioned yet, but they will be shortly, that are pretty decent candidates for positions that will be filled. So, and I think that's all that I have. Oh, tours. I went to Mapleist Grove. Just kidding. No tours.
Any questions for Mr. Root? Okay, we're going to move on to our next item on our agenda, which is our upcoming board events. And as Stephanie made a comment, we got our Harvest Days Parade, and she needs to change her
Hopefully somebody else
acceptance to
Yeah.
no. And of course, you heard that I'm out of town, so. But Ken's going to be in town for Harvest Day, so maybe we'll do the parade.
The parade, I'll be at the parade. I'll be, hopefully there'll be 3 of us. 2 teachers for the district and me.
I'll be.
You just bring your whole family.
I'll be there.
And she fills the parade.
Parade.
You'll be there?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Did the Amboy one this weekend.
Yeah, we had fun,
Yeah.
So if we can just try to fill this out or do the calendar.
Yeah, one of those budget hearings, I'm not gonna be Hawaii.
But if you do the calendar invites,
Okay.
yes or no on the calendar
Okay.
invites, then Sandy can
Well, my login to it doesn't work, so mine doesn't work that way.
You need to tell us.
Yeah, I've been in a couple times. fixing it. It doesn't
This
seem to
must
work.
not be updated.
Yeah,
Because that's the last cal.
Yeah, because of the fourth last week.
Yeah.
It was Sandy was a bit behind.
Yeah, Cindy didn't want to work one of the 4 days that she had off.
And I didn't want her to either.
Yeah.
So then the next item is our citizens' comments. And there was 0 people signed up for citizens' comments, but I would like to take the time during citizens' comments to make known of a member that we have in our audience that is running for a current board position, Miss Tina Lambert. And ask at this time, I don't know if you have time to review anything of the items that we have coming up on the agenda. But is there anything that you would want to comment on? No. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
I just found out that a Battleground graduate, and we need to probably publicize this at the Reflector, was the youngest officer appointed in the Marine Corps ever.
Wow.
And he's a Battleground graduate that he's not getting the recognition I don't think he deserves, and it's a pretty big deal to be the youngest person ever to be appointed as an officer in the Marines.
Wow.
Yeah,
How did you hear about that?
it's one of Oliver's friends.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's been to our house a million times and I can't even remember his name.
They'll come to you in the middle of the night.
Yeah, exactly.
So if
I
you
see
could-
him, but
If you could get with Ms. Sanders on that, if you would,
yeah,
have her
You
and
could
her
think
staff of one do some research on it. Maybe put something together.
perfect.
So how old is he?
He's a year younger than Oliver, so he's 24.
That's
I couldn't even be younger than that even. Yeah. Youngest officer ever. Yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah. Impressive kid.
So our next items on the agenda is our consent agenda. Now, on our consent agenda, we have the approval of the minutes, business operations report, the contract ratifications, the personnel reports, and the financial reports.
I move for approval of the consent agenda.
So we have a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is our unfinished business, which is the salary schedules for principals and district office administration. And the recommendation on that is to wait until the next board meeting due to the budget that was just approved through the state legislature. And we'll have to do some recalculations of those salaries. Can I get it? So I would entertain a motion to stay or to postpone or stay until the next board meeting.
I will move to postpone that item until the next meeting, until we have a firmer grip on what those salaries can be.
So I heard 2 things, so if I could restate your motion, if we're going to move to postpone it until we have a firmer grip on what those values may be.
Would that be the next meeting?
No, it could be 2 meetings. That's why I restated it. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. The next unfinished business is the approval of the second reading of policy number 3241. And we have Ms. Taylor here to help us through this item again.
Good evening. This is the second reading for policy 3241. We are recommending, or I'm recommending that you delete the current policy 3241 because everything that is in this policy is actually in the procedures in the WASDA model policies and procedures. And then adopt the policy 3241 that you have before you, so that we are in alignment with both WASDA model policies as well as RCWs and WACs. Any questions?
Any questions? Want to make a recommendation?
Sure.
The Board of Directors, I make a recommendation that the Board of Directors approve the second reading and adoption of policy 3241, classroom management, discipline, and corrective action. Got my good glasses on.
So is there any comments or questions? So just to clarify from what Ms. Taylor said, she and asked us to delete the existing policy, but what this will do by that is actually delete it and approve it.
That's correct.
So we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is our new business, which is Resolution P17. Sam?
Yes, and I would like to ask Trudy Story to come up. This is her area of expertise. So if there's questions, you can answer. And this is a new resolution authorizing duty to index public records. And Trudy has a copy of the RCW 4256070. Do you want to talk about a little bit of what it says there?
In all of the trainings and also in the policy and the RCW, we are supposed to have either an index on our website that lists all of the records that are public records. So that list would be huge. And I mean, it would be tremendous impact. So instead of having that list on the website that people can go to and say, here's a public record, the resolution says that it's too much work. It's too, the volume to maintain that index would be huge and very burdensome. So the resolution just states that we are not going to have that information on our website.
So Judy, how would that affect a public records request? Would we have to go to an archive somewhere else to retrieve that information, or?
It wouldn't affect the fact that we had to produce the records. It's maintaining that and entering all of that, having a spreadsheet that would index all of those different public records that are available.
Okay.
So it really doesn't do anything except keeps us from having to have a website with all of those things listed. Budgets, I mean, for example, all of the budgets, all of the calendars, anything that would be a public record, we would have to list on there and maintain that.
So it could be very labor intensive and costly on behalf of the district if we were to do that. If I'm,
We've never had the resolution before, but when, like I said, when I went to the trainings, they suggested that we have that. We've never been called on it before. It was just something that was brought to my attention in one of the trainings that we should have that.
Okay. Good.
And we're not required to have it by law.
We are, RCW 4256070 says that we are supposed to have that index on our website. I believe it's, I pulled the RCW and it's 4A, a local agency need not maintain such an index. If to do so would be unduly burdensome, but it shall in the event issue and publish a formal order specifying the reasons why we are not going to have that.
So we're legal to do this.
Yes.
That was my point.
Oh.
read it?
Motion?
Yes.
Go ahead,
You make the motion.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Directors approve resolution G17 authorizing duty to index public records.
So Ms. Nichols had asked if we should do it, so I'm going to ask her if she'd like to.
No, we're not going back here. Whereas the volume of public records under Chapter 42.56 RCW developed and accumulated by Battleground School District is exceedingly large, and whereas the staff, time, and the effort that would be required to assemble and maintain the current index of district public records under RCW 42.56.070.4 is excessive in light of office staff duties related to the district's core educational mission. And whereas the district expense and the staff time and effort required to develop and maintain an index of district public records would materially and substantially detract from performance of other duties, and whereas in light of the above, it would be unduly burdensome to maintain a current index of such district public records and would interfere with the district's educational operations without materially improving the district's ability to respond lawfully to requests for public records. Now therefore be it resolved that Battleground School District will not maintain an index of public records under RCW 42.56.070.4, but will make available for public inspection and copy all indexes of public records that are maintained for district use.
So we have a motion on the floor. Any further questions?
There's a missing word in here, and that's the word "to." On the third whereas, the district expense and the staff time and effort required to develop and maintain. So with that, I'd like to amend the motion to say that word "to" be inserted and then pass the.
So, Ms. McClintock, will you accept that as a?
I will accept that amendment to the motion.
So we have a new motion on the floor. You guys understand it, or we should repeat it?
Sorry.
Thank you.
It's grammar.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thanks for explaining that too, because when I read it, it didn't really,
It is confusing.
it helped a lot having you explain it.
So the next item is policy 4040.
Correct, and I'm going to ask Trudy to stay up here because this one is, it's a policy that we've had in place for a number of years, but it says first reading because similar to the one that Teresa Taylor did, we're deleting all of the old policy and procedures and replacing them with an updated version of policy 4040 based on the WASDA recommendations. And so the documents that you have there are a deletion of the policy and the procedure within a draft for 4040 and the procedures for 4040 as well. And then exhibit, it's called an exhibit, the request for public record that folks have to fill out in order to do a request. And I think that some of we didn't have anything in our current policy about electronics and all of that, so it's been updated.
Correct, and most of what was in the policy is now in our procedures. There were some things in there like the exemptions. That was in our original policy. We've taken those exemptions and put those into our procedures instead of our policy.
So is there any questions on the new policy 44?
What are recommendations
Or a motion?
or motion? Make a motion, recommendation of the Board of Directors approve the first reading of policy 4040, public access to district records.
So we currently have a motion on the floor to approve the first reading of 4040. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. And now we come on to a new revision of the policy number 6570, which is our property and data management. Yes.
It's policy night.
Yeah.
So the first policy I have, because I'm up again after this one, is 6570, as Monty mentioned. And this policy has some minor changes with the shall to the wills. And it also deletes the paragraph on the records management retention, which Trudy was just talking about, the policy 4040. So that's a really good timing. I didn't realize you were talking. Further, it changes the value of our theft-sensitive assets. The policy hasn't been updated since 2007, so it's been about 10 years, and we've always been under this 250 threshold for our theft-sensitive items, which are, which are more marketable, more susceptible to loss. You can hide them under your shirt or backpack. We're not talking, huge things that we easily see. So with that being said, 10 years, 250 seems a little low if you take into consideration inflation. So, a 2% increase over the last 10 years, we're looking at a 20% increase to 300 seem like a relative number for our theft-sensitive items. And I made the changes to that policy. Are there any questions?
I'll move the Board of Directors approve the revision of 6570, property and data management.
So there's a motion on the floor. Any further questions or comments?
I think this is written back for pagers. Right? Yeah, good.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. So then our next item on the agenda is the revision of policy number 6801. Did I get it right?
Yes. So this policy just defines what a capital asset is versus theft sensitive. Like I mentioned, theft sensitive is now $300 to $5,000. Anything above $5,000 for the most part, it also doesn't lose its value and is going to be, has a life of at least a year, is considered a capital asset. And then it defines that theft sensitive is, our items that are more subject to loss. It also notes in the policy that the board will be provided a report identifying assets not accounted for during our annual inventory audits. So that is a new piece. Once that is done, our cycle counts are done for the year. We need that presented. There's always a little bit of, when you do an inventory, there's always a little bit that can't be found or identified due to just was old and was not, the record keeping was not kept up and recorded properly.
Just out of curiosity, when is that inventory usually done?
Summer.
In the summer.
In the summer. Scott and his team work on all of the IT items during the summertime and have that wrapped up before the school's year starts. And the business office does cycle counts on a lot of the other theft-sensitive items. And that's usually in the summertime when we have a little bit more availability. This time of year with the budget taking longer, there's more of a crunch. But we also try to fit it in during the year if possible in the winter time. It just really just depends.
So we should be able to get a report. That report that's supposed to come to the board should be coming
Fall,
sometime in the fall.
I'd say in the fall.
So with that, to piggyback on this question, is there a procedure that says when and how you're going to do that? What particular format or?
For the items, no, we don't have a procedure identified, but Scott and I can work together. He's here, right? To put it in some kind of a format that's easy to understand and read, and we can give you a high level on maybe there's a theme, kind of talk about themes of items that cannot be found, or, the age, kind of look at it that way instead of, we're talking of the items that are done 1% or less. I think it was even like less than that.
Less than 0.5%.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Directors approve the revision of policy 6801. Capital assets, theft sensitive assets.
So there's a motion on the floor. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Root, I didn't hear you.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. So our next item is the Comcast Cable Communications Management contract.
I think it was supposed to be a policy.
Policy.
I think it's what it was supposed to be.
Mr. Scott.
Thank you. As I believe all of you are aware from communications from my department, we had a couple of issues this year with internet access. The first of which was a distributed denial of service attack that occurred in October. We lost about half of a day of internet access. There was really very little we could do about that other than suffer it out and wait. Since then, the state has been putting in some measures to protect against that, but there's nothing that's going to make it perfect where we won't feel the impact of somebody really trying to be nasty. The second issue that we had, we lost a day and a half, and that was May 22nd and 23rd, and that is due to a combination of two things. The first was a fire over in the Pittick building where CenturyLink has some of their equipment located, and the second part of it was a failed piece of network hardware that they had a hard time locating. Either way, we lost a day and a half. That was right in the middle of our testing. Actually, it was right at the end of our testing season. And so the loss of the connectivity for that especially was extremely painful for everybody and very quiet in my department. So, because this has happened in some other school districts, there's been a lot of discussion in the Oregon and Washington districts that I talked to about acquiring secondary redundant internet connections as a fail-safe in case there is an outage. We know that our reliance on technology and the internet is growing more and more. There's very few jobs in this district that can be fully executed without having access to the internet in one form or another, and it's growing less by the day. To combat that and make sure that we can survive an outage, I'm bringing this contract in front of you. This is for internet access from Comcast, and do you have any questions?
So if our internet goes out, then this is gonna catch it?
And it is going to catch it in almost all circumstances. One thing it can't protect is if somebody plows through a telephone pole on 149, then we're probably going to lose both connections. Given that's not the most likely issue that we face, this should fail over and provide us with the protection we need from both of those issues. Yeah.
So now we have CenturyLink, right? That's our primary.
Correct. CenturyLink is contracted through the state of Washington. The network that the state provides is called K20. CenturyLink is just our local provider. So they're the ones that we were given.
And then this would be a backup to them. What is the time frame when we lose CenturyLink for this would kick in?
It should be fairly instantaneous. We haven't done the configuration on our firewall and our switches yet, but it should detect the outage and fail straight over to that. That's what our goal is.
Six to last week.
Same capacity, Scott?
Half. This is half the capacity we have now. The state connection is very good, so there's nothing in me that would say, I don't think the state can, and CenturyLink can provide reliable service, that K-20 has been a provider for the entire time I've been here. I would believe that we are close to like a 5.9s, 99.999% uptime every single year. That's really difficult. They're very picky. They won't tolerate any errors on their circuits at all, which is, it's really hard to get there. And they will force CenturyLink back to the table every time to fix it and make it perfect. But it's really hard for us to suffer an outage. We lose in teaching time, we lose in work time. It's a very expensive loss.
So this is a 5-year.
It's a 5-year agreement. Correct.
So does it matter how long we would be in their backup system? Is there any restriction on the time frame?
No, it's there for us all the time. If we need to, we can fail over to it. If we needed to do service on equipment in some way, we still could fail over to it. Yeah, it's always there. That's the intent.
What happens with this new law that they're passing with the limiting the users' speeds on the internet? Is that going to affect us at all?
No, it shouldn't affect us. What we get from K-20 and what we'll get from this is a guaranteed rate of service that is the same up and down, if you will.
Okay, all
At
right.
home, a lot of the times, they will give you faster download speeds than they do upload speeds, because most people, including myself, believe it or not, we don't run servers out of our houses.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
yeah, I grew out of that a long time ago. So, yeah.
Well, having just gone through 4 days of CenturyLink, having our telephone and internet cut off, this sounds like a pretty good idea.
Yeah, they're telephones.
And there was a new phrase,
Yeah.
a new expression, that fail over, I've not heard
Yeah.
until I saw you. That's brand new to me.
Failover, redundant links, yeah.
Yeah.
This is brand new.
And clearly it's failover redundancy, not in addition to.
Correct. It is not bundling our speeds. If we need more speed, we just ask the state and they flip the switch. It doesn't cost us anymore. So K-20 is very expandable.
So is this an item that we should be asking legislatures for additional funding for?
That would be great. That would be really lovely. My budget would be very happy with that. After the outage, we had a very serious conversation at ESD 112, all the tech directors, most of our school districts around us weren't impacted, but I was, and I asked the hard questions. I'm like, what are you going to do? What can you do? And they said it is cost prohibitive for the state to include redundant links to all of their school districts. It just isn't. There just isn't money at the state level. So I would love for the legislature to cover redundant links. I think it would be very critical, important.
That will change when they're affected.
It will. Yeah. They're not on K-20, but just schools, libraries, and colleges.
So this amount of money is covered in your budget? You think you can cover it without additional impacts?
I had at least we projected a moderate increase to the utilities budget for tech, and we will have to make it work. Yeah, I can't let us go down the
Insurance policy.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Directors authorize the Comcast Cable Communications Management LLC redundant 1 gigabyte internet connection at the total cost over 60 months of $193,200.
60 months.
So we currently have a motion on the floor. Is there any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Item on the agenda is our more relocated portables, Mr. Particularly for the low voltage.
Hopefully this is my last agenda item for you for the school year 2016-17. For the rest are nice and small on consent agenda. This is for the low voltage, which includes labor, material, and equipment for low voltage wiring, device installation, and systems programming for our voice and data, our intercom, all the fire alarm, classroom technology, access control, which is the two doors, and security systems. We bundled this through a TIPS, which is very similar to the KCDA. It worked to our advantage. A lot of those bids were done quite a while back. The one for Lauren is actually cheaper than the last time we moved these 6 years ago, so that was a kind of a pleasant surprise. I think it's because we had an economy of scale where we bundled it together with a larger Yakult project. Well, the Yakult is more expensive than the last time we did a 10-plex, and the reason is that the 16 portable classrooms that were located in Yakult all had what's called zonal fire alarms. So each one of them was just an individual thing, not tied together. When the fire alarm went off, they all went off, and you had to find out which one it was at. Due to old code requirements. Now with the new code requirements, we had to upgrade the existing. The site, that was one of the site conditional uses that we had to upgrade the other 8. So they're all now tied in, and in what is called it's an addressable system, so we'll know where the problem is. We can reset it from the school. It's all everything is integrated together. So that's why the 10-plex is a little bit more money, but not bad. Questions, comments?
I'm sure we'll see it eventually, but do you have the project cost, total cost?
For the
Yakult 10-plex, and then Lauren.
I can get it for you next
Yeah,
time.
I figured you, yeah.
It's more on the 10-plex is going to be right where we were last year, but the 8 are going to be a little bit more than I told you. I think probably another 20,000 each.
Yeah, sometimes it's just hard for me to keep track of all the separate contracts. And I know you are too, so.
You got it.
Any other questions for Mr. Cole?
I'll move the board of directors approve the contract for the Lauren relocated portables and Yakult modular low voltage electrical number 17-044, KIPS contract number 4042315, and authorize Denny Waters, Deputy Superintendent, to sign the contract on behalf of the board of directors.
So we have a motion on the floor. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is our citizens' comments. I didn't see anybody get up and sign up for the second half of citizens' comments, so I will ask, is there anybody that is wishing to address the board at this current time? You have 3 minutes to tell us what's on your mind. Seeing that nobody wants to address the board at this time, we do have an executive session concerning property purchase, which is RCW 42.30.110 lower print B, and no action? Possible action?
I don't think so. It's not mine. No, it's Megan.
Oh,
We need a direction.
so possible action.
Possible.
And 30 minutes?
Yeah.
20 minutes.
20.
Okay, 20 minutes. Okay,
5.
20 minutes. Thank you. Yep, we'll be back there.